YouTube. This is Cover 2 Credits, and we are back, and today we're going to talk about
a controversial topic.
Stuff.
So, even if you've been under a rock, you realize that there have been some tragedies lately in the United States. And basically, we wanted to discuss with each other our thoughts on gun control. And so, I want to preface this a little. Well, no, I'll do that when it's my time to kind of go through my spiel. Where are you at? My thought is this. There seems to be three camps. The get rid of any automatic weapons camp, the get rid of all weapons camp, and the Second Amendment is there for a reason. I have the right to own any weapon I wish camp. Do you fall into any of those three?
See, it's not...
It's not cut and dry, I know
like
that.
most political things, you know, everyone is half right, half wrong, and all stupid.
True.
And that is completely how I feel about the topic of gun control. Now, America has always been sort of... We're the backwater hillbillies of the world, right?
Especially when it comes to gun control, man.
And we're always the dudes with the big guns. That's
well, here's what
we are and what we do, and what we always have been.
You hear about the stories of people going to like England, or not England, Europe, and other places like that, and cops don't carry guns.
Mm-hmm.
They carry clubs.
Uh-huh.
You know why? Because the people they're up against don't have guns.
Mm-hmm.
Here, if police didn't have guns, they'd be a joke.
Mm-hmm.
That's.
And like I said,
Go ahead.
that's part of the whole thing about America, though. Because here, we're always on our friggin' high horse about freedom. And what it comes down to at the end of the day is, how much do we let the government decide for us what is best for us? And that's what the question comes down to at its root. Is, does the government get to decide what is in our best interest?
Yeah. The only thing...
The answer in America has usually been
no.
It doesn't get to decide.
I think, though, the more we have these mass shootings, and, you know, I can't believe there wasn't a drastic change after Sandy Hook, where it was the grade school shooting. Mm-hmm. I could not believe there was not some kind of drastic change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have this Orlando shooting, and it's the largest mass shooting in U.S. history on U.S. soil. It's to me, it's like, I agree, that's the line. Government step in, but not overstep to some line. You know what I mean? My thing is, somewhere along the line, something has to change. How many of these shootings are we going to allow to happen by not making changes? Okay, because where I lie is this. Where you and I live, and I want you to come in with me if you agree or disagree with this stuff, but where we live, we're at the top of the state, or have been at the top of the state for the poverty line, in the people below the poverty line in our counties.
We are here in the Rust Belt. Everyone is extremely poor.
Yes.
Everybody.
To where when you see the news and you see people, and I've seen this multiple times, and you see people say, well, there are people that hunt to have food, and they're like, no, that's a fallacy. That's not the case anymore. That's not true.
That's not true.
There is very much the case to where there are people where we live that hunt every season, and that's the food, that's a good portion, if not all, of the meat that they're going to have for the year or for whatever till the next season. Mm-hmm. That's not an exaggeration. Would you agree?
That is not an exaggeration.
That is why my thought is, I'm on the camp of, unless you're a SWAT team member, you should not have an automatic weapon, an automatic rifle, an assault rifle.
See, like I said, and I agree with some of that.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I cannot see a reason why, as an American, you should own an assault rifle.
No.
There's no reason for you to own an assault rifle. Now, is it the government's job to tell you that you can't own an assault rifle? I don't know about that.
The only reason,
I don't know. Now I say, is there a
say,
reason for you to have an assault rifle, though? No. You don't need an assault rifle to protect your home.
No.
You don't need an assault rifle to hunt with. Like I said, Illinois, assault rifles are illegal anyway, so you can't get one.
Yeah.
But, so here it's sort of a moot point. But there are states where you can have them. Illinois is, one of the more, I hesitate to call it progressive, so I will go ahead and call it liberal.
Yes, they don't call it progressive.
Is one of the more liberal states when it comes to our gun control. We have a lot more than most people because of Chicago.
Which, whether or not it helps, we don't know.
And like I said, that argument is that argument. Is it right? Is it wrong? We don't know. But here you can't have an assault rifle, but there's a lot of places you can. And like I said, to me, I can't think of a single reason why you would need one.
Okay. This is going to be a very slim few people. If you are a professional shooter, maybe you could use an assault rifle. Like somebody who's actually paid to be a professional shooter. That they do 3-gun and they do something like that. Maybe. Everybody else in the country that's not that does not need an assault rifle. There's no reason. You said yourself. I cannot think of a reason.
I can't think of a reason. Like I said,
anybody
now
would need one.
I am of the camp that I'm not sure it's the government's job to tell you can't have one.
Yeah.
I think that should probably be regulated by the states. But
the problem there, though, is everything's so different all the time. My opinion with that would be, if nothing has been changing up to now, maybe it is time for the government to say, we're going to take the assault rifles off the shelves. Because nothing else has changed the fact that these mass shootings aren't stopping.
I don't think they stop anyway. But that's just me.
But the deal becomes, though, and this is the argument you hear a lot, how many people survive Orlando if that guy doesn't have an assault rifle and multiple clips? If he's dealing with a different gun, then you're talking about possible less fatalities.
Possibly. But on the other hand, what if he just goes to the hardware store and cooks up a fucking pipe bomb and throws in there?
But that's not. But you can't bring it the same way, because him building a bomb and him purchasing a weapon is not the same thing.
Yeah, because building a bomb's way easier.
I'm not. Okay, I'm not disagreeing with that either. I'm saying for our argument, though, they're not the same thing. Like,
you're jumping your logic trains here. You can't say, well, if the U.S. bans all assault rifles, this guy won't be able to kill so many people because he won't have an assault rifle. Well, my thing is, if you want to kill a lot of people, killing a lot of people is easy.
Okay,
people are squishy, man.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm merely saying, if you take away one avenue, that's the biggest avenue for this to happen right now, that's one less way for him to do it. That's all I'm saying.
That is one less way for it to happen.
That's all I'm saying, because if you think about any of these mass shootings that have been happening, and the stats are not going to be, I don't have the stats in front of me. How many of them, though, deal with an automatic or an assault rifle? A lot.
Quite a few.
You know what I mean? You're not talking about a mass shooting of a lot of people, and the guy went in with, like, a pistol.
I don't know.
Maybe. But you know what I'm saying.
Black kid and it's dark. Because then a cop with a pistol will shoot him like 34 times.
That's true.
And it's like, the cop had to reload at least twice to shoot that kid 34 fucking times.
Was that in Chicago?
I don't remember.
But
it's like,
talking about that.
I'm like, he had to reload at least twice.
Here's the thing. Somebody else said. You know, like it's just the idea of. And that's the reason I said take away the assault rifles. You know, a shotgun or a rifle, like a bolt action, and a pistol is nowhere near the same level of mass instant threat. Mass threat, okay. What I mean is, I can't hold a pistol and just spray a bunch of people down. I can't hold a bolt action and do anything like that. And a shotgun is not. I mean, that's my main point. Where when you're trying to curb mass shootings, because that's literally the argument right now. How can we stop this from happening?
And like I said, to me, that is not a valid argument.
What? How to stop this from happening?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I'm wording
If you're
it
trying
badly.
to stop mass
How
shootings,
can we stop mass shootings with assault rifles from happening?
Yes. If you want to stop mass shootings with assault rifles from happening, take away the assault rifles. That is a solution to the problem.
Would you agree right now that's the major problem?
I would agree.
It's one of them. It's one of them.
That's my thing, though. Is everyone to me acts like this is the end of the damn world. Is it the end of the world?
What do you mean? Allowing these to happen?
Yes. Is it?
But it's also we're not like culling the herd, Kevin. Like it's not. I understand what you mean.
I understand
but
that.
like stopping this is a big issue.
To the families and the people, that's horrible. That is a tragedy.
Yeah.
It is a complete and awful tragedy.
Yeah.
But on the same side of that argument, I hate it when these things happen and people who want gun control use it to push the agenda of anti-gun control.
I completely agree.
I hate it. It disgusts me. And they talk about, and the gay and lesbian rights activists talk about all these hate crimes and shit. And I'm like, you weren't there. Your son and daughter did not die. The fact that you are using someone else's pain to push your political agenda infuriates me to no end.
Now, I will only say this. When you're dealing with the LGBT thing, and the rights and the discrimination and stuff like that, that coming to the forefront with it being a gay bar and things like that. There has to be some kind of discussion.
It's the same shit where all of the race people and the NAACP, every time a black kid gets shot by a police officer, and they come up and they're screaming and they're fucking making these mob actions.
And I agree with you're saying.
It infuriates me.
The problem, though, is you have to bring up the fact that there's a possibility this was a hate crime.
It was definitely a hate crime.
Okay.
I'm not saying... I am not trying to defend it.
You're saying pushing the agenda from this.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that this wasn't a terrible thing for that guy to do, because it was. There's no way you can even remotely justify any of that. No. It doesn't matter if they were gay, it doesn't matter if they were black, it doesn't matter if they were purple. You can't just walk into someplace and just gun people down because you feel like it.
Listen, man,
that's not cool.
I don't like those fuchsia people.
Yes, fuchsia people piss me off. But like I said, that's the whole thing, though.
Yeah,
but,
I agree. I'm just trying to clarify your thought.
I hate everyone that comes out of the freaking woodwork, and I hate the freaking mass media, and it disgusts me to watch them buzz around these places like fucking maggots on a corpse. It infuriates me.
I agree. And
like I said, it's like spray painting a tattoo for Pepsi on a fucking corpse at a funeral. It disgusts me because that's what you're doing.
The problem, though, lies the only time we have these conversations about gun control and the only time we have these conversations about whatever like this is right after one of these happen. That's the problem. Because obviously, the first thing that's going to come up when they're talking about it is the tragedy that caused the conversation. So that's instantly is going to push some kind of an agenda. I agree they shouldn't, but you know that's going to happen. The reason you and I brought this topic up today to talk about was because we've been seeing nothing but this in the media. And we both know that because of where we live, we might have a different opinion than some.
Yeah, well, like I said, we live in one of the most gun control states in America.
Yeah.
Like, we live in Illinois. You can own an assault rifle here. You cannot own any gun that can shoot more than one bullet with one pull of the trigger.
Yeah.
I read the gun law the other day because I thought it was interesting. Like I said, so in Illinois, you cannot own any weapon that shoots more than one bullet with one pull of the trigger. It is against state law.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't buy one, you can't own one, you can't see one. It's against the law.
Now, I'd say I'm not a hunter. I've never really been a hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I'll fish. I don't hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't own guns. My people in my family hunt.
Mm-hmm.
They own shotgun, heavy rifle. That's
Mm-hmm.
about it. But yeah, I've never. But I also will say this. I know many of my friends that have many guns, and I know that everybody that I know are responsible and safe with said things. I know some people say that's the whole one of the biggest problems. People are not responsible with their firearms. I know many people that take their children hunting with them, and their children are more responsible than some adults you hear about with firearms. And it's things like that that show, here, the respect for that is different than other places.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's because we live in such a hunting and outdoor centric area.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a strange conversation to have, because it's a conversation that needs to be had. Would you agree?
I guess.
I mean, my only thing is, and this is the same reason I say, even though you hate the argument,
Mm-hmm.
if there's a decision to be made that can stop, or how about this, that can lessen the amount of mass shootings that happen,
Mm-hmm.
why shouldn't we make that decision?
Like I said, it comes down to what do you want the government to have the right to tell you to do.
That's not even part of my discussion.
That has to be
because
though,
I'm
because
asking
if you can lower the number of people who die in drunk driving accidents by only selling people 3 drinks at a bar, should the government make that law? Way more people die in drunk driving accidents than shooting accidents. So bars can't sell more than 3 drinks to anyone ever.
But see, I hate that argument too, because every time this happens, they come out and say, more people die in cars, we should outlaw vehicles. It's not the same thing. I understand. And I understand
Sort
your
of the
argument.
same thing.
It's not though, because unless someone's running you down with a car,
Uh-huh.
it's an accident.
Yeah, but it's an
You're not
easily
getting-
preventable accident. Like I said, it's about what you believe the government has the right to tell you what you can and cannot do. That's what it comes down to. Is it can the government tell you that you can't own a firearm? Should they do so? I don't know. Like I said, watching what the government does and has done, especially since 9/11, is just terrifying. You
Yeah.
want to talk about 1984? People don't understand. We already lost that war.
Wait, say that again?
We already lost that war.
Which
in
war?
1984.
Okay.
1984, where the government tracks what you know, what you watch, what you see, we already lost. That is already happening. And the part that baffles me is no one gives a shit. The government knows where you shop. They know what you buy. They record every single conversation you have on the phone, and they have computers comb through it for buzzwords. It is happening right now, and no one gives a shit. That's the part that terrifies me.
Part of the reason I think
And
no one
like I
cares
said-
is they still don't believe that it's happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The government can track you. They can look into your house with satellites, with infrared shit, and know what you're doing, who you're fucking, and when. It's mind-boggling to me. So when someone says, should the government take away your guns? I say, fuck no, they've already taken away everything else. I want my goddamn
And
guns.
then
So
you
when they
think
come
about-
kicking my door, I can at least fight them.
Yeah.
And like I said, and everyone's like, well, the United States has the highest rate of mass shootings anywhere in the world. And I'm like, yeah, sort of, but there's still parts of the world, like in France, people use bombs when they want to blow shit up and kill a bunch of people. In Russia, people are still fucking killing each other. In Croatia, there's still wars going on everywhere else in the world. And these gang actions and the freaking religious sects squabbling and having actual armed conflicts within national borders. That shit hasn't happened in America for 200 years.
Because everybody owns a gun.
Because everyone owns a gun. Look up the laws. Any state with a concealed carry license has less petty crime. Why? Because you don't want to walk up to someone in Texas and try to mug them, because they will fucking kill you. And that is truth. Is that good? Not necessarily. Is that bad? Not necessarily. But that's where I'm at on it. Like I said, I don't think the government should be able to tell me what I can and cannot do, more so than they already do.
Yeah.
And like I said, is America kind of shitty about the guns and everyone shooting each other? Yes, it is. But all the people are fucking crazy nut jobs. Alright? And regardless of whether they have guns or not, they're still going to be crazy nut jobs. Now, can you limit the amount of damage these crazy nut jobs do by taking away their guns? Yes. But that doesn't make them any less dangerous. It just, like I said, you're friggin'... I don't even
Here's
know how
my
to
thought.
describe it.
Here's the way I'm going to describe this. When you're dealing with any terrorist act, it's a gigantic open wound. If I can say that whether it's the government or whether it's somebody else coming out and pushing the fact that we need to not have the sale of assault rifles be as easy as it is in some places to get, is that going to fix that wound? No. Is it going to put a Band-Aid on that wound at one place and stop some kind of a bleeding? Yes. One spot. I'm not asking for you to fix everything. I'm saying if taking away assault rifles from everyone can stop a handful of people around the country from going off the deep end that they're right at the edge of going off of anyway, and not deciding to take the assault rifle that they own or go buy an assault rifle and go to their work and decide to shoot the place up. I feel then the discussion needs to be made about making that decision. Even if it's the government saying, you can't have an assault rifle. They're not taking all your guns. They're only going to take the ones that realistically, you and I have both said, we have no reason to own anyway. That's the only argument I have. I agree with you completely. There needs to be a difference between how far the government steps. But I'm also saying, without a government step, you're never going to get this done. That's the conundrum we're in.
Yeah, like I said, and it's not a simple decision.
No.
And like I said, and everyone's going to preach about slippery slopes and government interference, the whole thing to the cows come home. And like I said, everybody is right. The people on the right who want gun control to stop people from killing each other are right. The people on the left who don't want the government telling people what they can and can't do with their own fucking lives and their own fucking homes are right. Because everyone is right and everyone is wrong and everyone is dumb and yelling too much.
If I read the headline correct, today at a Trump rally, a guy rushed a cop or somebody who had a gun and then rushed and tried to take a shot. But they wrestled him to the ground or something and got the gun away from him before he could do anything. The longer this goes on, with the election getting closer, it's just going to be more and more of a circus.
It always is a circus. Like I said, it's
even more of a circus, though, with him running.
The whole political atmosphere in America has devolved into just freaking crazy nut jobs, man. It terrifies me, honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm here with a smile on my face, laughing about it,
Oh,
but it really does. It's like freaking civil war between the left and the right, and it's all over the dumbest stuff. And like I said, it's just crazy people painted their freaking chests and taking their shirt offs at freaking political rallies, and it's just sheer, absolute madness.
Yep, and I think
And like I said, and the mass media just keeps fanning the flames and fanning the flames and
that's
fanning
the job.
flames.
That's their job, and which is a stupid thing anyway. But that's what they're there for now. Is they're there just
to fan the flames.
That's also why.
And this whole friggin' country is going to come apart at the seams one of these days because of it.
Yeah, I mean.
And like I
they
said,
always
and I'm
talk
the
about
crazy
that.
conspiracy theorist guy who believes that the downfall of society is imminent, and everyone will laugh at me and point, and that's fine. You can do that. But
I mean,
at the end of the day, like I said, things cannot continue on the path they are on indefinitely.
Yeah.
Something at some point will give, and the fallout of that terrifies me. Because I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know whether it's going to be the collapse of the medical industry because of the inflation of prices. I don't know if it's going to be the insane political situation in this country. I don't know if it's going to be because of the student loan debt. There are so many stressors pressing in from every direction. I don't know if it's going to be a militarizing Russia, but something at some point is going to give, and it's going to be very, very bad.
You know, the crazy thing is, out of all the stuff you said there, I think the militarizing Russia is the least of the worries.
See, and everyone says that.
But
And
I'm not saying it's not a worry.
Might be the first one in 50 years or so who's willing to go to war with a world power.
I wouldn't doubt
Because I
that.
don't think he's afraid of fucking anyone.
No.
I don't think he's afraid of us. I don't think he's afraid of China. I don't think he's afraid of fucking anything.
I doubt
And
it.
like I said, he's already invaded a country, and he won, and no one did anything about it. And that to me, like I said, he's pushing to see how far they'll let him push.
I mean,
And I don't know, because America really doesn't want to go to war again.
No.
And everyone else in the world is too much of a fucking coward to go stop them, because we always deal with it.
it gets to where, you know, you're like, I'm glad we live where we live, because we are kind of in the middle of no man's land. We're not near a large metropolitan area.
Mm-hmm.
Even Peoria is not that big.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem that we have is that we live in the state with the most nuclear power plants in the country.
Yeah, which is also on one of the biggest fault lines in the world.
Yeah, that's a great.
That's
a great contradiction of thought right
Well, you
there.
know.
Like the fact that you're like, where are we going to put all these nuclear power plants? Let's put them the one place that could have a giant earthquake.
Like Japan.
Sounds good, or like the San Andreas Fault. It'd be like putting 11. It'd be like putting 11 nuclear power plants through the middle of Los Angeles, and just being like, they'll be fine.
It'll be great.
I mean, we've witnessed earthquakes. They were small. Do you remember it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember
I
it.
was awake.
So
and
was
I'm
I.
like, what the fuck's going on? This is weird.
I remember we were in Cuba there, and we thought it was a semi driving on the road because the whole building kind of shook. And then we look out, and a semi. We're like, that's weird.
That's a friggin' earthquake, son.
Yeah.
You don't see many of them around here.
I think in my 29 years, I've only seen or read of 2. But they were both within the last 10 years?
2008 and 2010. I looked it up the other day because I was bored.
There you go.
Um.
So if you've gotten anything out of this conversation, Kevin's bored a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not going to say, tell us what you think in the comments, because I don't want to open that nest.
I do. What the hell?
He also never reads the comments.
I really don't. I will never look.
So,
If we get 20,000 comments, people screaming about gun control, that's fine. I won't read it.
if we get 200 comments, I'm going to make him read every single one of them.
And reply to them?
Yes, every single one of them.
Alright.
My thing is, something changing for the better shouldn't be a scary thought. And right now, the way everything teeters, it is a terrifying thought.
Like I said, I'm right there with you. I don't think people should be allowed to have assault rifles because I don't think that they have any use other than the sort of things that these tragedies cause. However, I also don't think the government should be able to take them away from us. So, where does that leave us? I don't know. I would say common human decency, but I know that's not going to fucking fly with anybody.
Walking contradiction.
Yeah. It's a walking contradiction.
Yeah.
And I know that. But like I said, that's where we're at in America.
Sadly. And I mean...
And like I said, I was reading a Reddit comment the other day about this, and someone from a different country, from Europe, is like, that's because, and he was swearing and screaming about how everyone in America has freaking guns. And, yeah, we do. And we're generally proud of it. And this is the sort of shit that happens as a result.
And I wonder, though, too, if you were right about the fact that the reason so many people have firearms in the U.S. is because on some levels they are afraid of the government overstepping, or the government saying, we have to do this.
that was the entire premise of our country's foundation. We stepped away from England because we did not like them telling us we could and could not do things.
Yeah.
So we went to war with them and we won, and now we are our own country. Because we don't like big governments bossing us around, and we have become what we hate. And there is an underlying current of national fear. We fear our own government. It is a cesspit. One that we created ourselves, and we don't really know how to stop it or deal with it or curtail it. And like I said, it just keeps spiraling further and further and further out of control. And we keep going further into debt because no one will raise taxes. And we keep stretching out all these government programs. And we keep acting like crazy people. Like I said, everyone's going to pretend like I'm some crazy right-wing dude because I like guns and I hate the government.
Listen,
but that's not me. That's not me.
Whoa. Right wing, probably not. Crazy, jury's still out. So, mainly, our conversation today, though, is just to get people thinking. Because
it's an interesting topic of conversation.
Yeah, I mean,
more than anything else, it is something that people should discuss.
Yeah.
And everyone says you shouldn't talk about politics and religion. I disagree. Politics and religion are my absolute favorite things to talk about.
Yeah, and
because that's how you get the most interesting conversations.
And sometime we'll delve into religion. That's a whole nother ball of wax. My main thing is, when you have this conversation with people, make sure they're level-headed people.
Keep an open mind.
Yeah,
because closed minds lead to anger and violence, and then you end up shooting up a nightclub, and then we have to start the cycle all over again.
Well, what I love is you have the people that I see that go on the defriending spree on Facebook when things like this happen.
Yeah, and like I said,
all they do is just
madness.
Oh yeah.
You have to be able to separate people from the ideas those people represent.
Yep.
And a lot of people can't do that. And that's the thing that breaks up friendships or false friendships.
In a conversation, I can do that. On like a Facebook setting, when the only posts they make are posts that are pro or anti-gun, and then they're getting into arguments and comments, I'm like, I'll pass. Like, that's
go
okay.
away.
Yeah.
I don't care about you.
Yeah, like that's
and like
okay.
I said, it's the whole Facebook friend thing's fucking stupid anyway.
Which is coming from a guy who doesn't have a Facebook page.
I deleted my account a long time ago.
Yeah. But so if you want to talk about your thoughts, go ahead. We might read them, we might not, depending on how much vitriol is in your comment. But again, it's just something that we wanted to talk about. And we might have other topics like this, depending on what goes on. And whether or not we want
to. It's our channel, and we can put whatever we want on.
Yeah, we just kind of like to sit and discuss, because we're going to have these conversations anyway, so we might as well record them. And it's also a lot easier to relay information to the camera and not just me turn and yell at him and him turn and yell at me. Mm-hmm. So this is an easy way for us to kind of bounce things off each other. Mm-hmm. But until one of those next videos comes out and we call it, the next time.
Thanks for staying alive to the credits.
I definitely thought I lost him there.